Immigrant and Refugee-Led Capacity Development Network of Illinois, IRLCDN, CBO Spotlight, a partnership with University of Illinois Chicago, Institute on Disability and Human Development, and Illinois Department of Human Services. Family Focus. Introductions.
My name is Michelle Ramirez. I am the lead case manager at Family Focus in CBO.
What motivates you to serve your immigrant and refugee communities?
What motivates me to serve our community, it's really the fact that I can connect to the families. These are not strange families. Even though I might not know or have that connection with the person directly, their story is the story of my parents. And so I definitely see my parents in the families that come to our office or that I've spoken to in the past year and have never met, right? With everything being virtual. So it just like my parents had people to support them navigate the different systems, I want to do the same for other families and hopefully have others replicate that.
What is the most rewarding part of your work?
How thankful families are, how they're like when they say thank you, it comes from a very genuine place. And whether we do maybe support with baby essentials or clothing or help with public benefits, it gives them, I feel, a little bit of breathing room, right? That piece of like calmness that it's okay if this document is in English, someone can read it to me and really simplify it to help me understand. Sometimes the challenge isn't so much that the documents are in English or Spanish, but sometimes the documents, even in Spanish, are difficult to understand. And we also need to keep in mind the different educational levels of our families. So maybe they only have the reading level of second, third grade, and they're not like the documents could be not the friendliest to read. So it's little things that we do. It's day to day, very like I don't think that anything that of the support that we provide is something out of the world. It's basic needs. It's day to day needs. So just that genuine connection.
What makes the work of your organization unique?
Best part, and definitely one of those characteristics that stands out with our agency, is that most of us live in the community that we surface. So I grew up in CBO. I moved in when I was 10. I came from a different community and I've been here since. And so definitely it is what keeps me with my agency, right? With this agency, that even through college, a lot of students or just people that we grew up with, they want to make it out, right? That's the big goal. That's the dream to make it out and come back, but to service only like your immediate family, you can say, support your parents, things like that. But for me and for many of us, I know that the work that we do is for our community. So it's an us approach, and it's not about me. It's about how do we help our community thrive? How do we help them get to their highest potential that we know that if given the right tools, people can reach. So I mean, I'm fairly close to our office. Many of my coworkers are also fairly close. So that there's that it's home, right? Our community is home. So therefore the organization becomes home.
With the challenges presented by COVID-19 regarding service delivery, how do you feel your organization has responded in terms of supporting its immigrant and refugee communities?
We have shifted everything that we do to be virtual. Even earlier today, I was speaking to my coworker, and she mentioned, she's like, how did we work before COVID? Just like the number of people that we were able to service prior to COVID happening, just everything from home visitors, they're doing virtual visits, relying much more on email, on the different virtual platforms. And again, keeping in mind that not all of our staff and not all of the families that we service were comfortable with email, or were comfortable with even sending a picture message of documents that we need to apply for public benefits or such. And so it's been a learning experience for everyone. It's been a very, very tough year. So just like we love the work that we do, it's not always very, very fruitful, right? It comes with many challenges. And of course, this year just kicked it up to a whole other level. But the organization, everything from the first day of when they announced that of the stay-at-home order, I think in March, everyone just started thinking and shifted their mindset and their curriculum to clearly our families still need services, right? So how do we process and handle COVID for ourselves and our own families, but also while supporting the entire community really to the best of their needs and our ability. Definitely everyone has been so responsive. I think from people doing the groundwork to leadership, they have been incredible in the sense of, you know, like when you have those very long days and you just don't know how else to service people, there's always someone there that like through this whole year and even before that we have been able to check in with and just really like ground ourselves and think of next steps. So I'm very glad. I'm really proud of how we have responded. And I will say we definitely got very creative. And I really do like how, like the very intentional approach to all these changes. So one of, I think, the most significant, project, but because restaurants were closing, right? And people were in quarantine and not working, so then there's no income, so there's no groceries and all of that, and you can't even go outside. One of our local restaurants, a very small family business, we paired up with them and they were able to provide restaurant meals, so home cooked meals, like you have the arroz and you have the frijoles and the tortillas, you know, like meals that it's not frozen meals. And they delivered to families that were currently COVID positive. That was incredible. I mean, before I wouldn't have thought about doing something like that. So it's been interesting, very, very interesting.
Can you give a snapshot of the different communities inclusive of languages and cultures that you have served in Cicero?
Cicero itself is predominantly Latino. So our families are mostly of Latino background. Country-wise, it is mostly, demographics is something that we do measure as an agency, and most of the families have a direct connection to Mexico. So that's the main one, the main country, but Central Americans, there's a lot. So languages, Spanish is mostly the native tongue of families here. We do have Latinos who are only English speaking or identify more with you can say like the US culture, right? But yes, it's definitely mostly Latinos, and then I would say other groups of color. And I mean, again, there's a little bit of everything here, but that's mainly the people that come visit us.